Okay, so I have been very infrequent with with videos and streams. I did not stream this past weekend because the Packers starters didn't even play, and I'm not as interested in preseason as a lot of other people are, and so I just didn't do it. So it's like I haven't done anything since I streamed the previous weekend. But since Oh, did the update happen after? I don't remember if it came out before the streamer or after the stream. I don't remember how many weeks it's been. Recently there's been a kind of a maintenance update for Wilds, and they added 9 stars into the game. And I wanted to just kind of do a video, and I was thinking of doing like a 1 to 9, hardest 9 star to to weakest. But then just kind of looking online is kind of like playing around with. I've done at least like five or six of each of the 9 star fights, and most of them have been losses. And so it's like I don't really want to go like 0 and 9 is like the easiest because maybe I died less times than I did with another monster. It's like, is that really the easiest or not? And it's just like I didn't want to do that. So basically what I did is I just kind of did like a tier list here. We're just gonna go Z tier, Z plus, and S tier, or not Z plus, I'm sorry, S plus. um and just kind of go from my kind of rankings of doing a bunch of the fights again. I did about 5 or 6 fights, and most of them are losses. Some of them were really close, and then some people just died, or I just died, and it's just it's hard. And now that I started, I am considering giving this guy his own tier, and I almost want to give him a Z plus tier because currently, he is the hardest fight in the game. I was thinking him or Legiacress, and we'll talk about Legiacress in a minute here. Maybe I'll talk about him next. But um, when we had the 8 stars, I probably had Legiacress above 8 star Gore Magala. Just because it just kind of felt like after Title FA2, they're kind of like leaning towards like, hey, like newer monsters are harder. We're gonna make this guy. He's one of the fan favorites. We're gonna give him the title for a little bit, and it kind of felt like they just wanted him to purposely be hardest at 8 star. So I fought him. Oh God, like I don't know, like 15 times at 8 star. Like it was a really tough fight, but I enjoyed the hell out of that fight. I enjoyed the water aspect of it, what he does and everything. But then then I started the 9 star quest, and Lakia Crest was one of the last 9 star I actually did. Mainly because I was so hung up on trying to beat Gore Magala, because 9 star Gore Magala I probably fought about 20, 25 times with a bunch of people, and everyone was dying, and it seemed like people wanted to, at least I guess I should say on like the western side of the world here, people want to do that because every time you look for a 9 star, there was always Gore Magala. He was always there. There's always, they're going and flying off the shelves, and people are getting in the first, 2 seconds. And if you're not the fastest person or fastest button clicker, then you're not getting into his fights. And so I got so hung up, and for like 2 days straight, literally, I think probably it was literally 2 days straight, I was trying to beat him, and just, finally did. Just a couple days ago here, and he's just a madman. He's so incredibly just I screw it. I'm gonna do it because I did not mean to do that. Um, I am going to give him his own tier because he's just so crazy. He's the hardest fight in the game. This is this is what people wanted, and I don't agree with what people wanted because the devs purposely turned up the heat. They purposely did because there were so many people crying online. Now I don't follow the Japanese community a lot, so I don't know if they were crying too. But there were so many people here in the West, here in the States, that were just like, yeah, like this is so easy. This is not Monster Hunter. Like this is like Puppy Hunter or something. Like there is so much talk of that, and the devs are like, okay, bet, here you go. Here's the hardest fight like ever. I mean, not really. He's probably. He's nowhere near probably the hardest. I have not played every single Monster Hunter, so I don't know what people considered like the hardest fight. Probably a Fatalis fight, probably one of those fights. Um, maybe White Fatalis, maybe. But for Wilds, he is by far the hardest fight in the game right now. Um, and we're coming up on 6 month anniversary, so we're or six. Yeah, we're 6 months into the game, around there. So this is crazy. Like this is like 9 stars already is insane. We'll just talk about Lagia Crest real quick. I probably have him at 2. I think if I did a 1 to 9 ranking, like I originally was going to, I probably would have had him at 2. They, from what I understand, and kind of playing around now, again, I haven't looked at all the, looked online, all the mechanics, and followed what everyone's saying. It almost seems like they extended his AoE reach, which is scary. It's really freaking scary. Obviously, you have like 5 business days to jump back and get out of the way because he telegraphs it so well in advance. When he curls up, he's either going to do his tail swipe or he's going to do his electric AoE attack. There were. I'm like hesitant to put him number 2 because I'm gonna throw Jindahad up there too, real quick, because there were more so human error that I saw while doing this fight. I did this fight, I don't know, 6-7 times, and it was a lot more people just kind of being dumb, and it was more so on the players than the monster being really hard. Like Gore Magala, you be perfect, and he has find a way to absolutely demolish you. Like that's why he gets his own tier. Like there's you can't counter perfection. Like he's the closest thing to perfection in this game. It's like that's just how hard he is. Like that's. But with like Lagia Crest, I saw a lot more people just kind of being, kind of dumb and not rolling out of the way fast enough from his AoEs or whatever. So I still love his fight. I think Gore Magala's fight is toxic as hell. But Lagia Crest is probably still my favorite fight in the game. That underwater dynamic in 9-star, it doesn't feel like it's way more crazy than like the 8-star tempered version, but I don't know, because I keep thinking about Jindahad, and his fight. I think his fight I did the least. I think I only did his fight like 4 or 5 times. Because mainly it was a lot of. I had one lobby where the same guy died 3 times. And I was like, really, dude, like, come on. Like, I think he switched weapons and whenever, like, midway through and stuff. And like Jindahad is such like a interesting fight, and he does more. As far as, so I did not fight his normal form and his tempered form a lot. I guess like the 7-8-star form a lot. It seems like his 9-star form climbs the wall way more and way earlier than the other than the older variations and the non-tempered variations. Now again, I'm not an expert in his fight. His fight is more, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it's more of like a structured fight because you're purposely going area to area versus obviously like a normal monster like Lagia Crest can go to different parts of the map. Like obviously Jindahad, you're following him basically a straight line to his where you can kill him further in, but he's tough. Like he's really tough, but like I enjoy him, but it's not my cup of tea with how like straightforward it is. It's just like, oh, do damage, okay, next location. Do damage, okay, next location. Do damage, okay, next location. Okay, now you can kill him. And it's just like, okay, well, make sure to do this and this, and he's got his AOE in his third phase, or the third area, I should say. Whereas that I do not remember being anywhere but his final little phase, final little area. So his AOE now he can do two of them, or two areas I should say. I think he can double AOE in the fourth phase anyway. I think that first time, or his non-tempered version kid. But like he's hard, he's fun, but like I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. But he's definitely like he's a hard fight. He's crazy. That's like he deserves as or not S tier, Z tier. Um, I am gonna go Uthduna down here. Now, me personally, I hate all of his structured fights. His arch tempered fight, I hate with a passion. I hate that 8-star arch tempered fight with a passion. When we had Raydao as arch tempered, and they gave him a new move set, and did all this stuff, and he was like really fun. He was different. He was unique. Uthduna has a freaking shield, and it does like as far as I understand it, you don't actually do damage if his shield is up. His little blue scaly parts of him when he's in rage and whatnot. So going into this fight, I was already just like, oh yeah, I hate this. I hate Uthduna. He's my least favorite Apex in Wilds. It's not a fun fight overall. I didn't like his 6-star fight. I didn't like his 7-star fight. His 8-star fight, I didn't like him. I didn't like I said, Arch Tempered, I hated. Obviously they tweaked the tweak his moveset, and a little different moveset and whatever. But I don't like his fights at all. This is why I didn't want to do a 1 to 9, is because this is just my personal fight like experience fighting him. And I had a lot of people, like, in terms of difficulty, I think I won every single time against him. If I remember correctly, I think me and the people I were with, 3 others, I think we won every single time I've fought Uthduna as a 9-star. And again, if you can sit there on his head, and you can bash him. Like I love using like the hammer, or like the switch axe and whatever. Like I've gotten really good with the hammer. And it's just like I can just sit there and bash him, and it's just like, okay, well then eventually you're gonna he's gonna turn, and you're gonna hit his stupid shield, and then it's like, okay, now I gotta run around and try to do it again. So I just like, I don't like him. Like I don't like him. He's, again, the reason I'm not going below S tier is because like they're all hard fights. They all are. I'm not a fan of all of his fights. Um, and he's just like I didn't struggle. It's just annoying. It's more so annoying than it is an actual struggle or an actual difficulty. And again, maybe that's just because I got good people, 5, 6, 7 times doing this fight. I don't know, but it just seems like he was just an easier fight compared to the rest, and it's just more annoying than anything else. So, Raydao, I can't hate this man. I can't hate him. He's not one of the most difficult bosses. Not out here just demolishing everything or whatever. But I like his fight. I do. Like he's a fun fight. I don't know if I've ever lost against his 9-star variant either. Now that I think about it, so I've done him. I think I did 5 times. I think it was 5 times slide. I did him. And I've always literally polar opposite of Uthduna. I've liked every variation of the Raydao fight. I don't know what it is. But his Arch Tempered is still probably my favorite fight in the game. Like so far through the 6-7 months here that the game's been out, like his Arch Tempered was so unique. They gave him a different, a little different move set and whatnot. It felt so balanced, and going into his both his 8-star and his 9-star fights, I'm like, okay, obviously he's gonna have his older move set. I think they gave him like a little twirl in his 9-star fight when he does his little lightning cannon beam. It looks like in his 9 star, he does like a little additional twirl. Now I can't. It's been a while since I fought like the 8 star, the 7 star variant. Because when his Arch Tempered came out, like I was focused on him, and then I never went back to his other forms until literally. Or no, well, I guess I really haven't gone back to his other forms because then 9 star here is the next time I'm fighting Raidal. But it looks like they added like a little tweak. So like they gave all these Apexes little extra differences and whatnot for the 9 star, which I like. Again, like Jin Dahada was just talking about, he can do an AoE in his third. It appeared now I'm not 100% uh confirming Legia Crest is an extended AoE distance, but it felt like it. So it's just like, they added little details. Now Uthuna, I don't know exactly. Probably just like a stays in his rage form longer. I don't know exactly what they added for him, honestly. Him and Nuudra, I don't know exactly what they added because and I'll just pull Nuudra up here. Like he's an okay fight. He's nothing crazy, nothing. I don't know. I just feel like him. He, I fought a lot of variations of Nuudra through the levels. Um and it's just like if you can literally learn his timing and he just kind of sits around there and you can just kind of sit behind him with like whatever weapon, like you can just kind of do that like a bunch of damage to him, and it's just like it's learning his timing. So like for me, he's not that hard because as soon as you see him kind of rear up and he's going to do like his big fire attack, you have like literally 5 seconds to move around him, do as much damage as possible, and then he'll sit back down and then turn towards whatever player. And so he's just I don't know. It's just because I've learned him. Like that's Nuudra. I've learned how to handle him whenever I can take a bunch of different weapons in against him, and I can be a-okay myself because I can handle myself and figure out his timing. Um, so I like he's to me he's nothing super crazy. I don't know what they added for him. But he's nothing super crazy. But I don't know. Going back to Raid Alex again, I kind of didn't talk too much about him, but at least I was talking about his Arch Tempered form a lot more. But like he's a fun fight over. I just love the Raid Al fight so much. There's so much going on, and you can. I love Raidal's armor right now. Like I have pretty much the temper not temper the arch tempered Raidal armor. Was it the Raidal Y or whatever? I have that almost maxed out, so that's like one of my best armor sets. So when I'm like fighting like a thunder or a lightning monster, it's like I just bring that, and it's just like okay, like I can tank a few hits with if I'm not guarding, or if I bring like a hammer, I know I can tank a few hits. But it's just so fun, and I enjoy his fights so much, and I love his little lightning attacks. But he's definitely kind of difficult, but he's not as difficult as a bunch of other stuff. Um, Arkfeld. He's the second. See, this is where I get it. This is where it's so hard, and this is why I didn't want to do a tier list. It's because he's up there for like hardest fight. Now, again, I would definitely have like if you have anyone over Gore Magala, I definitely want to hear a good argument for that. I feel like you could put Arkfeld at number 2, and really like I said with the gimmicky fight. I'm putting quotation marks up. You can't see because I don't have my camera up, but with the gimmicky fight that Jin Dahada is like. I can drop him a bit. Like I can have him at 4. Really. But Arkfeld and Legia Crest are pretty hard, and Arkfeld's just faster. Like he's again like Legia Crest again. You have like a water part of the battle, and then he's kind of slipping around and whatever. Like Arkfeld just like runs all over the place, and that's it's just not as fast as Gore Magala, and I don't think he hits as hard as Gore Magala. I don't know. I don't know those stats. But like if you want to say Arkfeld is harder than Legia Crest, like I totally understand. Like he's a nightmare. Like this was the first monster, then the first 9-star I did. Literally it came out at 9:30 my time, and I'm like, okay, me and my friend are like, we're just gonna go to Arkfeld. We're gonna go try him out, see how he is. Do the flagship monster, and yeah, he's he's definitely deserving of that title. Um, as second hardest, like I can totally see the argument. I I would probably tie him with Lagia Crest, but again, if you want to put him at number two, like I totally understand. He's agile. He's with his stupid little chain things, whatever you want to call them, that are part of his body, his little blades or whatever. Like he's crazy. He's so freaking crazy. And like God, like I get PTSD from it. Gormagala, just full out PTSD. But you want to talk about a guy that's can scare me. Arkfeld does his job well. He does his job really well. Mitsu. I'm gonna do this. We'll talk about Seregios after, because I did see some discussion of him being like a really really hard fight. But I'm gonna talk about Mitsu first. Mitsu's kind of a watered down version, no pun intended, of Lakia Crest. Again, just with bubbles instead of lightning. He doesn't have like his AOE is his bubbles that you just basically just gotta like move around. His little tail stomp, little spinning move is like his definitive, like killer. Like that's gotten me a few times. Um, but God, he's right on the edge. I'm gonna put him. I think I'm gonna do this. I think I want to do this. I do. He's like right on the edge there because I want to save like Z tier for like really really tough. And for me, he's borderline. Like he really is, but he's a little bit easier than a lot of these Z tier or Gore Magala. And like it's just like, okay, if you can kind of figure him out, you gotta understand him a bit. The funny thing is I like his 9-star fight way more than I like his 6-star fight, 7-star fight. I hated this guy with a passion when he came out, and his tempered fight I guess Zoshia was out, so he was probably the second hardest fight in the game, at least in my opinion. Probably like Zoshia was the hardest for a little bit there, and then again they up stars, and yeah. But like I hated this fight so much. I kept dying to him so much, but as I'm kind of doing his 8-star fights, and starting to learn his 9-star fights, I'm learning him, and I'm having more fun with his fights now than I was with his other variants. I don't know why, but I just and so like he's definitely really tough. Like again, he's borderline Z tier, but I just he's a watered down variation of Lagia Crest without a bunch of like AOE's and stuff like that. Now don't get me wrong, his fire attack, his fire bubbles still kill you. Like his they're still devastating. They really are. And I don't want to downplay Mitsu at all, but I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to put him up there. So, and then Seregios, I'll just kind of talk about him a little bit. I don't have much to say about him. It's an okay fight if bleed. Bleed is basically his big thing of like, hey, uh, that's all I pretty much got, and then he can do damage. Like that's so like I don't know. There's to these other fights, like Raidal, like Mitsu, a bunch of these other fights up here. You got AoEs, you got fast, you got I hate saying one-shot killers because obviously, like like any of them can, but Seregios' moveset doesn't scare me as much as a bunch of the monsters I have ahead of him or above him. So again, these are my rankings, right? So I saw some people talking how like Seregios was the hardest fight in the game for them, and like I get that, like I can totally understand that. Again, this is all personal preference. Um, but I don't know. It's just something about like if you can eventually like break his feats and his his scales and whatever, then you have I think it's less likely to be bleeding than just outright, because I think you can't actually cancel the bleed unless you have bleed resistance. But if you like break his parts, I don't think you can actually like just full out stop the bleeding or the procs for it because that just makes him as a flying wyvern like with nothing. So I don't know. Like his for me, his fight just wasn't that crazy. I didn't, it was okay. Um, I think I only lost like one time with him. I think, and I don't think I even died that run, if I remember correctly. But I don't know. It's just it's okay. Again, these are my personal rankings. Now I've only fought him, 5 to 10 times each. Gormagala, again, like I felt like 20, but um, I might do like 50 runs of each and be like, okay, I'm gonna switch this around. So this is for now what I'm gonna go with. Let me know what you think is the hardest fight. What are your tougher fights? And for now, I'm out of here. Like, subscribe, and share. And peace.